Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Ali from Department of English Language and Literature in College of Arts in Al-Musansariya University. This is my second video lecture. It's related to adverbs in English language and English language, disjunct and conjunct in specific. The lecture is intended to second year students in the Department of English Language and Literature. It talks about grammar, and this is the subject that I am tackling for this lecture. So in this lecture we are talking about adverbials, disjunct and conjuncts. In the first lecture we tackled adverbials and we focused on adjunct. Now we are focusing on the second and third types of adverbials. Please note again that in this lecture we cover some adverbs, but in the context of different types of adverbials rather than as distinct and discrete words. So disjunct, as we have indicated here, are marked usually by a separation of or from usually nearby parts. In sentence 2, that is obviously he didn't seem happy, we have a disjunct. And the disjunct is highlighted in red color. Disjuncts are used to evaluate the form or the content of what is said. They occur outside the clause structure itself. That's to say, they are peripheral. Removing them may leave a well-formed sentence or clause, but readers lose the speaker's viewpoint. Disjuncts frequently come in the initial position before the clause to which they refer. But as we see in the following example, they do not have to. For effect in speaking, we insert a pause after a disjunct, and that can be represented by punctuation in writing. For example, he obviously didn't seem happy. Obviously, John wasn't interested. In the first one, obviously, not in an initial position, and obviously in the second sentence is indicated by a comma as a marker of punctuation. So punctuation is needed. For the sub-classifications of disjunct, not adjunct, disjunct as in Cook et al., 1973, pages 242, 243, are classified into style disjunct and attitudinal disjunct. It should be indicated here that most disjuncts are prepositional phrases or clauses. For the differentiation between style disjunct and attitudinal disjunct, style disjunct usually convey the speaker's comment on the form of what he is saying, defining in some way under what conditions he is speaking. Examples: seriously, do you intend to retire? Personally, I don't approve of here. Very frankly, I am tired. As for attitudinal disjuncts, they usually convey the speaker's comment on the content of what he is saying. Generally, they appear only on declarative clauses. Examples: obviously, no one expected us. Understandably, they were all annoyed when reading the letter. As for the third type of adverbials, conjuncts, the simple definition that can be given is joining. In sentence 3, that is, he isn't happy, yet he gets on with life, we have a conjunct. Conjuncts are also outside the clause structure and connect ideas in sentences or between sentences. We can rephrase sentence 3, he isn't happy, yet he gets on with life, as in, he isn't happy, however, he gets on with life. The word, however, is still a conjunct. It must be noted here, we should note here also that some conjuncts are conjunctions, like yet in example 3, in sentence 3. Conjuncts can be subclassified into numerative, reinforcing conjunct, acquaintive conjunct, transitional conjuncts, summative, appositions conjuncts, result conjunct, inferential conjuncts, reformulatory conjuncts, replacive conjuncts, antithetic conjuncts, concessive conjuncts, and temporal transition conjunct. Examples: for numerative, words like first, second, third, 1, 2, 3, for one thing, for another thing, for a start, to begin with, next, then, etc. All these are numerative conjuncts. For reinforcing, we have words like also, furthermore, moreover, in addition, above all, what's more, this is a phrase, than, when it's informal, etc. For acquaintive conjuncts, we have words like equally, likewise, similarly, in the same way, etc. For transitional, we have words like, or phrases like, by the way, incidentally, etc. For summative conjuncts, we have words like then, or a phrase like all in all, in conclusion, to sum up, etc. For appositions, we have namely, in other words, for instance, that is, that's to say, for example, etc. For result conjuncts, we have words like consequently, hence, thus, so, therefore, and phrase like as a result. For inferentials, like words like else, otherwise, then, in that case, etc. For reformulatory, we have better, rather, in other words, etc. For replacive, we have words like alternatively, rather, or a phrase like on the other hand. For antithetic, we have words like instead, then, a phrase like on the contrary, in contrast, by comparison, on the other hand, etc. For concessive, we have words like anyhow, anyway, besides, nevertheless, etc. For temporal transition, we have words like meantime, meanwhile, or a phrase like in the meantime, etc. Based on a quote, et al., 1973, as is much of what has followed, the relationship between the three types of adverbials can be best conceptualized in the graphic shown below. However, a good deal of functional language, such as expressing a viewpoint or connecting ideas logically, depends for its success on the realization through adverbials. Hence, the graphic may seem rather technical. Adverbials are classified into integrated part of the clause, which are adjuncts, and peripheral out of the clause, which are conjuncts and disjunct. Disjuncts and conjuncts, they can be classified into non-connective and connective, non-connective as in disjuncts, and connective as in conjuncts. Thank you for listening, and I hope to meet you again with my third lecture.